tonight. Kathy Fields, 22670 Wood Creek, retired from the school district after 35 years, and Mr. Thomas Levinson. Mr. Thomas?
I thought you were at soud. Oh, thank you.
But through the forum, I can't agree with everybody agreeing. I pretty much just have a statement. First, I feel the need to apologize to Mr. Wager for being brand new with the intent of moving Taylor schools forward and having been thrown into cleaning up the mess of the previous administration. I don't want to offend any member of this board. I respect you as individuals, and up to this point, I have respected your decision. I, however, strongly disagree with this plan. Every elementary school in Taylor will be affected, whether it be through school closing, students moving to different buildings, or students having larger populations. Every family with elementary children will be affected. I know part of the intent is to try and improve the educational experience. However, I believe buildings are also part of that experience. If this is money driven, then I have some questions. Where was the oversight? Granted, you didn't have to know that it was COVID monies being spent, but you did have to approve payroll, and you were able to ask questions as to where this money was going. That didn't happen. Why are we going to continue being administrative heavy and hiring programming positions tonight? Lastly, this board promised transparency. How transparent was the preparation of this plan? Where were the committees? Where was the input from your stakeholders and administration? Where was the input from our families? I believe if this is implemented, you will lose trust and credibility with the public and your employees. Most of all, I fear a loss of Taylor School District families. Not that it matters, but I have lost trust with your decisions. I can't agree moving our little people around like checkers on a board and disrupting their lives and their families and interrupting their education. I just have two questions. Number one, is the previous administration going to be held legally accountable for this situation? And number two, where was the board oversight? I know you're dealing with hard decisions, and I know as individuals, this is a tough decision to make. I think that's it. Yeah, two questions.
Well, I was going to say, I know that we had difficult hearing because it was a little broken up, the sound in the boardroom, but I think we have the questions. If Mr. Wager could.
So the questions were, are the previous administration, are they going to be held legally accountable? And then the second one was, where was the board oversight? And Kathy, if I'm not paraphrasing you correctly, please feel free to correct.
No, that is correct.
So for the first question, is the previous administration going to be held legally reliable? Right now, our district has not found anything illegal that they have done. What we have discovered was what they were doing was irresponsible. Those are the two key things that we want to make sure that everybody knows. What they were doing was not illegal. It was just irresponsible in the sense that there was no plan to sustain the salaries and benefits. Not a plan that was shared with the board, not a plan that was presented that we knew about to sustain the expenses that ESSER $3 was covering.
Why did this board not question where the COVID money was being spent? The previous administration could spend it the way they chose to. I get that. But where was the board oversight saying, okay, you had however many million, where did you spend it? I want to see where you spent it.
About the oversight.
The oversight?
Yeah.
So specifically to the grant application, the board does not have oversight over what is submitted to the state, as that is the district's administration job to fulfill that grant application and submit it. Our previous assistant superintendent of elementary education, our CFO, were the two individuals that signed off on that application.
That's
Again,
not the application, Mr. Wright. It's not the application. It's how it was spent.
Not the application, but how it's.
how it was spent. So again, we were not made to know what that sustainable plan was to.
Why did you not question what he was doing with the money?
Why wasn't there a question?
Why did you not question where the money went?
The main reason why is because when the school board looks at the budget, specifically this grant dollar wasn't falling underneath the general fund. What the grant was falling under was a different category. So when we were evaluating our general fund dollars, the general fund was showing that we had a positive fund balance every single year. What we were not made aware was that when they moved salaries and benefits out of the general fund, that eventually that general fund would have to absorb the grant dollars, and there was no plan in place to sustain when those grant dollars, that grant budget, was going to then be absorbed into the general fund.
Nobody asked. Well, nobody asked.
Yes.
Because again, the general fund showed substantial improvement every single year.
Your oversight is over all of the money, not just general fund. Your oversight is over all of the money, not just general
Absolutely.
fund.
Absolutely. Yes, you are correct on that. We are absolutely responsible for the full oversight of that budget. Yes. But when we're looking at the state and what they're doing, then we need to look at also the general fund. And that's where the issue comes now, is we're looking at the state coming in because our general fund would be falling below that threshold that the state requires us to have.
All I'm saying is families are going to be hurt. Kids are going to be hurt. Employees are going to be hurt. And down the line, if we lose kids, you're going to experience layoffs. And we're still top heavy.
So I can,
That's where we started from.
Ms. Fields, I can say that our district is doing everything in our power to avoid layoffs. That is not the direction nor the corrective action that we're going to be taking. At the current moment, we'll be taking a vote on the consolidation plan here tonight, but that is to protect our people. We know that, yes, a school building is a home for our students, but it's the people that makes that home. We need to make sure we're protecting those people that take care of our kids when they're in those buildings. And that's the goal of this board. We're trying to protect our people because they're the ones that make those kids feel like they're in a second home for most of them.
Well, my last comment is this board has a very difficult decision. And I believe if you vote this plan up, you are voting to implode our district. Thank you.
Thank you. We can go back to our one in-person audience and then move forward.
No, that's it.
First of all, are we still paying for Griff Mills as superintendent?
No, he's no longer employed with the school.
Right, but are we still paying out his contract?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Sorry, there's words, so I'm just trying to clarify on things to make sure everything is correct. The other issue that I have is if you guys vote on this tonight without giving employees time to come up with their questions and really fully understand this, I mean, you threw this at us today. Like, I don't think it was appropriate nor fair to leave us hanging for a week with speculation, threatening people with jobs if they say anything.
I'll just make that correction. No jobs were threatened if they said anything.
I've heard
Yeah.
a lot of people saying that if they spoke, they would be threatened with termination.
Absolutely not. We have no way of doing that, let alone the unions were present. That would have never flown.
Well, when I was talking to my union, one of my union leaders, he didn't even know about a lot of stuff that was going on. He's like, I have no idea. So if people knew and could have told us, why didn't they? Because they knew about this on Friday.
Are you talking about
Principals?
the principals and the directors?
Yeah, why couldn't they tell us?
Those individuals were told in advance, so that way we were able to actually roll this out and have them feel comfortable. I think it would have been unfair to throw the building administrator into that presentation and then expect them to lead their staff without having any understanding. The district was just doing their due diligence to make sure that we made sure we gave those principals and administrators the time to be able to digest, so that way they could then support you as a staff member. Across the district, we met with a lot of those individuals, and it was very well received that we talked to them beforehand. For example, I was at Randall Elementary tonight, and that was one of the things the principal said, I'm able to digest what I learned last week to then now support you all as you're learning this and as we're going through this together. The quote, if I'm not mistaken, was we're now on this journey together and we're able to provide and support each other.
But we're not, because you're voting on it tonight.
Yeah, I hear your concern is whether we vote or not tonight is what
No,
your
and
concern
I
is,
get that,
yes.
but my other issue is we were kept in the dark, and then just thrown the status of info, and then it's just going to be what it is. There's no say. And
So
coming from somebody who, again, this is all hearsay because nobody's telling us anything, that you're going to be resigning tonight is a concern. Which, I mean, I'm serious, like, this is stuff that's going around, like, you guys have to understand, when you don't communicate, or you leave stuff in the balance hanging, this is what people do. I mean, sorry, 90% of women, so I mean, they're gonna run their mouths,